Hello, everyone. Ted Clayton here. I do not know how to start this video, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just get to it. These are my thoughts on short women and tall men when they're together in a relationship. A theory that I have, some observations, but more so a theory that I have. Now, let's just put aside fetishizing or or any kind of fetishism. I don't have, again, as I always say, I don't have a problem with anyone's innate preferences or inclinations. I don't have an issue with that. But I do think that and even when it comes to a fetish, I do think when one doesn't understand where that's coming from, that could be a problem. And then I think people can get stuck in that fetish where it's okay to try something out, but maybe, and I'm not an expert in fetishes, so I don't want to get into that science per se. But again, just from the outside looking in, just superficial, um, uh, just take on it. It's okay to try that, but don't either get sucked into it or don't get trapped by it, imprisoned by it, but also maybe try some other things out. And again, for anyone that may be thinking this, we're not going to get into kind of any evolutionary reasons about why short men are not picked or are not chosen as a mate or anything like that. I don't have any kind of issues as to the state of affairs for me. As long as I get my money, I'm totally fine. I can make do. When I don't get my money, then that's when it's an issue. And we could talk about that. That's definitely something that needs to be addressed. But that's for another day. I know my self worth, so that's a whole nother topic. Whatever people want to do, that's up to them. Hopefully, they thought it through. And Ted is not going to be cleaning anyone's mess. But okay, just an observation. I wonder if other people have seen this. So let me just first put out there that, as a side note, it does seem to take on a father-daughter kind of thing to it, but more optics. I wouldn't want to get too deep into it. Maybe there is some of that in the intimate side of it, but more so on the optics. Because you see this really tall guy and a really short girl, and it looks like a father and his daughter. So I mean, it does look kind of weird sometimes. But what I want to talk about is an observation that I had is mom is getting a little tired, so I'm gonna wrap this up pretty quickly. Again, just a quick thought. There seems to be what I observe, or my deduction, is a sort of an inverse relationship happening where the short woman has the strength and or rather, let me finish what I was saying. The short woman has the strength and the taller man is the muscle. But more specifically, what I wanted to say is that spirit of the taller man, of a bigger person, more dominant individual, is really with the shorter woman, and then the more submissive characteristic or trait is taken on by the taller man, and they just complement each other. This is probably elementary, but this is something that I observed, and I just find it interesting. I've seen this in certain instances, and I know for myself, for instance, my mother is, and I never really broke down her relationships, but I know I've seen some of the guys she's been with, but my mother has very dominant personality, so you can't have really two dominant people, not for too long. But uh, I have seen this just play out. I just feel like that's sort of a compliment that they play off of, shorter women and taller men, that they play off that compliment, but they can't say that out loud because then that kind of blows the cover. The tall man's supposed to look like the more dominant guy, and the shorter woman's supposed to look like the more submissive, ladylike, dainty. But that's not how it really plays out. So again, just an observation, just a thought that I had. I just think it. I wonder if anybody else is thinking the same thing. But another thing that I did want to share. It's interesting that you hear people say that short men are not real men, right? Then like I mean, I've had women call me a boy, just to kind of retaliate, over calling them out on something, right? But when you see something like this, and I'm gonna say it, it seems like taller men can't handle real women. Just putting it out there. I mean, just putting it out there. Like I had a video where I mentioned taller men getting all the shorter women. So then it becomes, well, and then like if I went to try to talk to a taller woman, they'll say, the first reaction they'll say is, oh, you can't handle it. What you gonna do with that? You can't handle it. You can't handle it. The same could be said for yourself. Look like you can't handle a real woman. Just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. Anyway, but as far as the premise of the video, the main focus of the video, I wonder if anybody else thought the same thing. Just putting that out there for a conversation, for a dialogue. Anyhow, it's getting cold out here. My arm is getting tired, so I'm gonna wrap it up. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day.